How do you define success? Success is defined differently for everybody. It all depends on your career, your job. But something that's been talked about for many, many years is success. And it's something that I've been thinking about. How do we define success? And this podcast that I've done is about sports. And that's the avenue that I will take on a lot of topics is the sports realm, sports thought process. But I've been thinking about success because of what you see in the world today. From politics to certain people arguing on Twitter. And it made you think, what does success mean? When do people decide what success is? What do people decide who's in charge? And, does being quote unquote successful make you that much better than everybody else? Does a certain amount of success give you the right to talk to certain people a certain way, to put them down? It never It's something that I thought about that it has started to resonate with me the last couple of days because I know how I've defined success and I have questioned whether it's the right way to define success or not. Do you personally define success as making a lot of money? And then you have to define how much money do you mean by success? Is it they're making $60,000 a year to live comfortably? Is that successful? Are they making six figures? Are they making 150 grand? Are they making 400 grand a year? Is that successful? Do you have to be making millions of dollars to become successful? I have most certainly have uttered those words. I have uttered those words to athletes. I always say to them, I want them to be successful. And the next words out of my mouth when I say I want you to become successful is I always say I want you to have a big house or a nice house. I want you to make lots of money. I want you to have a good family. I want you to have nice things, a nice car, a pool. But is that what is really defined as successful? Because there are people out there with none of those things, but they're considered successful because of what their career choices are, what they're doing for people. Is being successful mean you're a celebrity or you're a big time, you know, Instagram influencer? You're known for all that. Does that mean you're successful? You're in a ton of movies. People know you when you walk down there. Does that mean you're successful? Did you invent something that everybody uses? Did you invent this microphone that I'm currently using? Did you invent the computer screen that I'm using? Does that make you successful? Are you a salesman for those products? Did you move a ton of product? Does that mean you're successful? That leans back towards money because we always say money makes the world go round. Everything revolves around money. Does owning something make you successful? Are you the owner of a pro NFL team? Are you the owner of a pro basketball team? Does that make you successful? Different people are going to define success differently. Because you have money, does that make you successful? Because you have a lot of money, does that make you better than anybody else? Just because you own a pro team and you have a lot of money and you're considered quote unquote successful because that's how you interpret success, how culture and our society they determine what success is. Does that give you the power over people? Does that mean you know more than everybody else about everything? We've seen it on social media. We've seen people that have made a ton of money, millions, if not billions of dollars. And then they tell everybody how to do things like they know exactly what they're talking about because they feel like they have a lot of money. They're quote unquote successful. So they have the right to tell us that, apparently. Is being successful mean you're a politician? You're one of the top dogs, you get voted in. Does that mean you're successful? Does that mean you have the power to be the boss of people? Being a CEO, does that mean you're successful? Being a great business person, does that mean you're successful? You own a lot of businesses. Is that the definition of success? You're a winning football coach. You win a lot of games. You compete to win conference. Maybe you snuck in a state title. Is that successful? You don't win a lot of football games, but you have a lot of kids out to play your sport. You have kids that graduate high school. You have kids that go on to get jobs. You have kids that go on to be college graduates. Is that success? You have athletes or students that start off the year as one of those kids that causes problems. You spend time with that kid or a group. By the end of the year or the next year, they become the type of kids that are helping other kids that are causing issues. Is that defined as successful? Is that a success? Do you have a student athlete that has issues at home and you provide alternatives? You have food at your fridge, peanut butter and jellies. Do you have a tutor that can come in and help? Does that determine success? Do athletes or other people talk more positively about you and what you do for the kids and communities or the businesses around you or anything around you for that matter? Is that defined as successful? But you as a person aren't making six figures. Maybe you're making 40 grand, but you're making a difference in kids' lives. You're making a difference in another adult's life. Is that defined as successful? You get that phone call from somebody saying, I'm thinking about taking my own life, and you talk them out of it and get them help. Is that defined as successful? You go to the soup kitchen on Thanksgiving to help give food. Does that define as successful? You donate money to charity from your fundraiser. Does that define you as successful? We all have different definitions. And something that I thought of after seeing all the Twitter about people that have money that tell us what's what, they own a pro sports team, and they choose to tell us about how medicine works because they're the genius on it, because they feel like they're successful because they have a lot of money. Does the money mean you're successful? Because I can tell you this, if I make a difference in a kid's life and I feel like I am, to me, that's successful. Do you lead them on a path better than a path that you had? That's successful. If they go on to invent something and they come back and tell you because of what you did for them, that's successful. Money is great. And I have definitely put that into terms of being successful because in life, that's how we've always elevated and graded things. But because you have a lot of money does not mean you are that much better than another person. You could be great at, Elon Musk is one of the smartest people on the planet. He is going to be super smart and creative, better than me. But there might be some things I'm better at than him. Just because you have the money does not always mean you are better than completely everybody else. Just because you have the money, just because you might own something and you're the boss of what you own, does not mean you are the boss of everybody else. Just because you were voted into a spot does not mean you are totally the boss of those people. You represent those people. You could define that as success, but if you're voted into a position, then you better do everything you can to do that job successfully, which is seeing progress. And that helps define success as well. So I want people that listen to this to think, how do you define success? Is it being the well-known athlete? Is it being a celebrity? Is it making the money and getting the bag? Is it making a difference in somebody's life? Is it making a difference in kids' lives, young adults' lives, teenagers' lives? Is it giving back to a community, doing community service? Whatever it is, define what success is, but also know how we define success. And there's different ways, and you're going to define it very differently. We better make sure we define success as ways to help make the world better. And I believe that it starts with people. We need people in our life, no matter how much of a loner we are. I'm, as well as anybody, love to have alone time. I, as much as anybody, will not go out on a weekend. I would rather sit there sometimes. You'd rather just sit there and relax. But at the end of the day, there's times where you love to have conversations with people. So ultimately, things start with people. It is about people. And being divided and everything, that's not being successful. No, I'm not getting political on one side or the other. I'm talking right in the middle. When we do not use common sense, when we do not come together, it's about people. So for me, being successful is giving back to the younger generation and trying to make them better than what you were. That could be defined as success. So really think about, for you, and I'm coming from a sports world, define success and really honestly commit to yourself and think, what defines as success?